It is Brave Central. It is a Friday, and it is a day and a weekend that I think we will remember with the Bristol Motor Speedway, the Speedway Classic coming up on Saturday night. But Barrett Sallee, Chris Dimino with you. And Chris, there was a lot that went down yesterday. I guess first things first, let's start with off the field stuff. A lot of the talk is around the trade deadline, was around the trade deadline for the last couple of months. The Braves really didn't do anything except Rafael Montero. I'm surprised we got a living, breathing person for him, but Marcell Ozuna still on the team. Raisel Iglesias still on the team. Everybody basically that was on the trading block is still on the team. For me, I'm not that upset about it. You weren't going to make a huge difference one way or the other. I think for having options going into next year, you probably aren't going to get anybody that would factor in. It's not a huge deal one way or the other. So, I get it. I get what Alex said yesterday that, he was looking out for the rest of this season while also having an eye moving forward.
Okay, well, I'm going to take a different approach because my problem with the whole thing is I don't have a bat in the minors that I could have had up here. And on the Baldwin Murphy, let's let somebody else DH. Let's get a couple of major league at bats. If I had an outfield prospect or it's not going to be Nacho Alvarez. I've seen it. Is there somebody down there who could be your DH of the future? And I mean, like, at some point, seeing him in the big leagues next year, that's one of the problems I have. Raisel Iglesias, I would have taken cash. Or I would have taken money off my books for both of those guys. Mm-hmm. Pierce Johnson's different because there's a club option. And while I'm not sure that Alex Anthopoulos, when we have him on later today, is going to commit to saying we're going to pick up Pierce Johnson's option, because you don't do that when guys have 2 months to pitch and you have to worry about injuries. I mean, all those things come into play. But I would have knocked off some cash, because here's what I'm going to tell you. You can't buy a player for what they might have saved. 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I could buy Ozzie Albies if you save $5 million. It only cost me $2 million. I could go buy 2 scouts from another organization. I can do something off the field with the money. $5 million doesn't buy you much of a player, but it could buy me something that I want as an organization. Now, this is going to sound ridiculous, but maybe it's actually upgrading and updating all of your computer stuff. Maybe there's something that you want to do in the minor leagues where somebody now has something they didn't have, because you got $5 or $6 million just by sending away guys who don't have a future here. So I kind of don't really understand that. And if the answer is going to be, and I'm assuming it is, well, you just basically want to play it out because the guys in this team earn the right to play it out with their best available players. What are you talking about? You just took a guy away from being a closer because he wasn't good, and the DH that you played a couple of times this week was told 2 weeks ago he's not going to play much. So I disagree with the idea of not dumping to save some money, because I don't know if you could have gotten it to close to $7 million if you made 1 or 2 other moves. If you want to pick up Ozzie's option, you go, you know what we just found? $7 million for Ozzie's option. Doesn't cost me anything. Or if it's $3 or $4 or $5 million, maybe I lure a scout, a development guy. Maybe I lure an international scout to come to me because I give him a deal that's a little bit better than the one he had. So I don't agree with keeping guys around because the integrity of the game says you keep them around. I don't really feel, quite honestly, that the guys in this team, when you tell me, oh, we want to make sure we have our best team out there to win. Well, you had 100-plus games to be the best team out there. They didn't win enough. So I disagree with that part. There's going to be a couple other things that are going to come up. I don't know what he's willing to talk about. It does sound like Marcell Ozuna, nothing happened, because their words, not mine. They didn't present him with anything, which is a little bit surprising. But again, I told you about 2 weeks ago this could happen, because Eugenio Suarez is going to be a better bat. Ramon Laureano is going to be a better bat. Whoever needed him or could have needed him had other options this year. Iglesias, I saw some of the arms that moved. I think this guy's talent warranted somebody having an interest in him. And let's just say that instead of the last $4 million, $4.5 million, I have the number outside, let's just say you saved $2 million. Well, it's $2 million you had that you didn't have yesterday. And so I disagree with that part. I mean, I don't know what I'm not looking to argue with anybody. I'm not looking to fight with anybody. I'm going to put my fan hat on. This has been a ridiculously disappointing year. The fact that you didn't have an arm you can bring up from the minors to just say, yeah, I'm going to save $2.5 million. Raisel Iglesias goes away because I want to see this kid pitch. That's disheartening. I know that they had interest in players who were going to help them in 26, 27. I'm more pissed off about the fact that we didn't have a prospect that anybody would have wanted who was graded as high as you would have needed to do a deal that would even impact 2026. Those are the things that this year to me, the wins and the losses, I told you, I sort of resigned myself to that stuff. I just think that there was unfortunate evidence that you're not in as great a position to deal from a position of strength this offseason because other teams are willing to give up prospects that they had that we probably don't have.
Yeah, and look, and I get that, and I think you're right about a lot of those points. And my thing is this, and luckily X is not real life, but a lot of folks there were freaking out saying it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world one way or the other. I mean, it really isn't. The prospect part of what you said, yeah, that's a huge problem within the organization. There's not much you can do about that. And honestly, I don't think trading Marcell Ozuna or Raisel Iglesias would have really changed that all that much. There would be another body down there, but how much do you really care about somebody you're going to get for Marcell Ozuna?
You have an older guy with a bad hip who unfortunately had a down year.
Yeah.
You got a closer who's not really a closer in probably many people's eyes anymore. So you didn't have assets to trade. And whatever you could have traded it, I'm just going with straight cash. I would have just said this is saving money. I'm not filling my farm system with guys like that. But I didn't
replenishing the whole thing.
I didn't have anybody in my farm system that I could have went and got a Mason Miller. I didn't have anybody in my farm system that I could have gotten a bat that's under contract for the next couple of years. That's what bothers me. Like I don't care about the minor leagues. I talk about it. I'm really upfront about this. I care about the 26 that are playing that game that night. I'm smart enough to understand the business of that 26 is the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more baseball below the surface than there is up here. I get all that stuff. I'm smart enough to understand the business. They're pelts. They're commodities. We don't have enough pelts and commodities to go do some of the deals that would have helped us already for 2026.
Sure.
I wasn't looking for anything for 2025. In 2025, I'd like to see an arm come up from my minor leagues and see him pitch in the 6th inning or the 7th inning. Mm-hmm. Let him get accustomed to being around here. Where the hell's my bat? Where's my outfield bat that I would have said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to expand to 28. That guy's going to get a couple of DH at-bats. That guy's going to play before Eli White plays. I would have done that. That guy's going to play before Jerks and Profar plays a couple of nights. I don't think we have one of those guys. That's the stuff that bothers me more than inactivity at this trade deadline. This season's a wash. I just needed stuff that I could actually use to make sure 2026 isn't this.
Sure. And again, I get that completely. And I think the biggest problem, I think, for this year was that there was really no interest in Marcell Ozuna or Raisel Iglesias in terms of what you could get back. Now, part of that, I think, was were the other teams that maybe would want Marcell, specifically the Padres, decided to do something different and go bigger, which, look, that's their prerogative. Again, you got to have a dance partner. And I think for the Braves, the dance partner just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not much you can do about that.
I'm a little over the trade deadline stuff because this is simple math. This is like third grade math. You didn't have something that anybody wanted. I would have sold them. I would have moved them to just save some money. I don't care about the rest of it.
You don't have that magenta crayon. Somebody else wants that magenta crayon, so you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, I understand talent. I understand who would want, I'd take that guy over your guy. There's no apology. AJ Pro is not saying, hey, man, sorry, Alex, I'm going to go this way. It's not how the ship works. It's just, so that part I'm done with. I'm more disheartened by the fact that you're going to have to buy a starting pitcher, front line 1, 2, or 3. There's no doubt in my mind. You're going to have to find a closer. Here's my questions today. Do you believe you have a closer in your system right now? And I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm going to ask, do you know if you're going to pick up Ozzy's option right now? I don't know what he's going to say. I'm going to ask, do you think you might offer Marcell Ozuna some sort of minor league deal to come back? Is he possibly anywhere associated with this team in 2026? Don't know what he's going to say. I'm going to ask. I mean, those are the things to me that, are you going to be okay with Baldwin Murphy as a catcher DH combo all year? I don't know what he's going to say. I'm going to ask, because if not, you got to buy a DH, or at least you got to buy a guy who's good enough with the bat to be a DH. I don't know who's out there. Like, I got the list. I gave you Ranger Suarez. Go get me him. I saw 2 starting pitchers I'd buy, but it's going to cost me a fortune. I don't know if we have a fortune. People who say we don't have enough money. Is that true? Because you keep telling me you got plenty of money. Liberty will let you do whatever you want. You know, my guess is he's going to say, yeah, I have enough money. I go ask Terry McGurk, and they give me what I want. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because, and the other one, too, I want to ask him about buying back goodwill. I know it's a terrible way to put it.
That's a huge deal.
It's a terrible way to put it. But he's got to buy back goodwill. I don't mean in an overspend. I mean just a spend or two or three. Because this fan base is pissed. Now,
very apathetic.
Oh, I think they're more pissed than I am.
Beyond that?
Yeah, I think I'm settled. Like, I think I'm settled a little bit more than the fan base because I'm just reading the stuff when we said that Alex is coming on today. You know, go get him. Sick him. You know, it's like shit like that. I was like, oh, okay. And we don't have a ton of time, so I'm going to do something I don't do very often. I'm going to say, I know there's nuance to these answers, but can we, lack of a better term, rat-tat-tat without a lot of explanation to it?
Sure.
You know, these are going to be more yes-no with nuance than maybe normally. Like the pleasantries. I'm going to text him in a little bit saying, hey, you know, I hope family's good. I know school's starting. I don't have time for that today. And we usually do that with him because we've never really had this conversation with him. I thought about all the conversations when he first got here. Hey, who are you? What are you all about? What's your philosophy? How has it changed over the years? How are we going to get this team out of the 15, 16, 17 malaise that we've been in? And that was the introduction stuff. Then it was, oh, okay, you built up a roster that was good enough for the playoffs. A couple of playoff disappointments, see 2020. World Series, we had him on after that. Then it was playoff disappointment. Why didn't you sign Freddie? Why didn't you sign Dansby? How come you didn't sign Max? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? We've had all the conversations except for this one. And if I was going to title this one, I think this one is, what the hell happened? You know, and that might take 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours. What the hell happened is you had guys get hurt. Guys didn't play as well as they normally do. Other teams in baseball were better. You couldn't get out of your own way at times. You couldn't put together a 5-game winning streak. I mean, I know what the hell happened. But
you need his perspective of what happened.
And how do you make sure it doesn't happen again? How do you make sure it doesn't happen again? Like,
I think that's the part that's most important is what do you do this offseason to make sure the fan base doesn't think that it's possible that it can happen again?
Oh, and it could happen again.
It sure could. Absolutely.
I think you have to buy goodwill, which is a really different place for this organization to be. We'll see how he answers. I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes myself.
Yeah, well, yesterday was one of the wildest games we've seen in a long time, but it's yesterday. And moving forward, the Braves do have another game with the Reds this afternoon. But the Speedway Classic, I am fascinated to see this. The game between the Virginia Tech Hokies and Tennessee Volunteers was in Bristol Motor Speedway a few years ago, and it was an absolute spectacle. I would imagine they make this an absolute spectacle. Look, if you bought tickets to this game, you're probably not going to see a lot of the game. That's not the point. You're there for the party. You're there for the event, and it's going to be wild. I don't know if you've been to Bristol Motor Speedway. It is a different world. I mean, it is an unbelievable place where you walk in, and I don't even know how to explain it other than it's larger than life. So I think it's going to be fun. I love the fact that Spencer Strider's starting this game. I know the league does too. So there's a lot to be excited about. And again, like for this team, not really caring a lot about what it means this year, I think maybe allows fans to enjoy this a little bit more because you're just there for the event and to have fun and to see a thing that you're never going to see, at least probably never going to see again, at least for the next decade or so.
Yeah. So they don't usually have concerts before baseball games. It's the first Major League Baseball game in Tennessee. And I've been on a Nashville kick for a lot longer than a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't tell me that Nashville or Tennessee is supposed to have a team. I believe Nashville is supposed to have a team because of what they've done as a city. And what they've done athletically over the last 10 years, they've been primed for this now. This doesn't really play into, oh, look, I told you Tennessee, because this is a freak-off. You know, this is like a strange one-off. I'm assuming they'll lean into a little bit of the race crowd. They'll lean into a little bit of the sound effects. I don't know if there's going to be cars anywhere to be seen, do a victory lap in a car. I have no idea what's going to happen. I got to be honest, I wish it was under better circumstances, that I felt better about everything, that I go, oh, yeah, this is kind of cool in a season that's kind of cool, but it's not that. I'll watch. I'm interested. It's a one-off that you don't get to see very often. I'm sure it's going to play well on TV. It's going to look pretty. I'll be interested to see how the outfielders have to play. It's fine. I can't really rally around this the way that I think I would have had this been a better season.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%. But the Braves do get to play spoiler if that's of any interest. And so for the Reds, this is one of those things where it's not just a cool little story. It's actually a very important game, especially if they're trying to avoid the sweep. Yeah. So, it's not what we thought it would be when this thing was announced, more than a year ago. Still going to be a fun event, and still really cool to see the Braves a part of it. I don't know. I mean, there are reasons to enjoy it, even though this has been a disappointing
it's different.
season.
I'm cool with different. It's going to be, I don't know if it's really going to be 85,000 people in the building.
Nah.
There are going to be people who realize that getting out early because it's going to be a different type of traffic day. All those things are going to come into play. Hopefully they play good baseball. If you have kids and you just want to say, oh, look, this is something that's never been done before, great. If you have tickets to the game, enjoy it. I'll watch it on my TV and I'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to look pretty. There's no doubt about that, especially for social media. And let's be honest, that matters a lot in this day and age. Maybe even more than the number.
Are they going to go play a game in front of the pyramids? I don't know. I mean,
on an aircraft carrier like a basketball game?
I mean, baseball's got to figure it out because, somebody up there is getting paid and they're going to walk into an office and go, I have an idea. And then it might be a good one, might be a bad one. This is interesting. So
there are no bad ideas. There are just creative ones in this day and age. So it's cool. I like that the league does this. And look, they're attracting a different crowd and trying to play to the social media aspect. Cool. I'm excited to see what the Braves do in this game. Again, not what we thought, but at least an event that I think a lot of people around here, and really I think a lot of people around the league will remember. So it'll be fun. All right, we're wrapping up. We got an early game today. Chris is going to talk to Alex, and then we have the Ford leadoff show later this morning. So Braves and Reds this afternoon, Speedway Classic Saturday night. He's Chris. I'm Barrett. This has been Brave Central. Share it with everybody you know. We'll talk to you soon.